Hey folks, this is Jake Davis, and I just woke up. This is going to be my first video about wrestling. Last night was WWE's Wrestlemania 35, live from the MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Uh, there's like 82,000 people there, and it went over 5 hours long. And there were 12 matches, and I'm just gonna run through what happened on the show and the time I had watching it. I'm not gonna cover the kickoff show, even though I watched all 2 hours of it and I did enjoy it. I'm not gonna cover it because come on, just give me a break. The show kicked off with Alexa Bliss coming out. In a sense, she's the goddess of WWE. She's the host of WrestleMania, and all she has to do to create a WrestleMania moment is snap her fingers like a sexy little Thanos. So she snaps, and Hulk Hogan comes out, and Hogan just basically says, WrestleMania is great. Hulk Hogan started WrestleMania, brother, and you're all here because of me, or whatever. Just that's just Hogan saying. He flets in, and then Paul Heyman runs out. He's pissed off. Goes straight to the ring and grabs the mic. He says, Brock Lesnar, his client is Universal Heavyweight Champion, and there's nowhere else on the card he should be than the main event. So since he's not the main event tonight, since the girls are going last, he ain't waiting around all night. Let's do this title match now. Lesnar comes out. Rollins comes out. Lesnar attacks Rollins before the bell, beats him all over ringside, just beats the hell out of him. Rollins got these welts just building up on his back. Bell rings. Lesnar throws him around a few more times. Pushes Lesnar into the referee. Low blow. 1, 2, 3 curb stomps. And Seth Rollins squashes Brock Lesnar in less than 2 minutes. New champion. Did not see that coming. So, the next match. A huge moment. Huge moment. I mean, kick the show off with a major WrestleMania moment is a good sign of things to come. Next match was AJ Styles versus Randy Orton, which is kind of a grudge match. A bit of a dream match, too, man. I don't think these guys had ever, at least I've never seen them wrestle before, and I was really looking forward to this match. They had a good match. They had a solid WrestleMania-worthy match, lots of traded finishers, lots of close, false finishes and near falls. AJ won with a phenomenal forearm, kicked out of an RKO. It was a good match. AJ won. Next up was the Fatal 4-Way for the SmackDown Tag Titles between the champs Uso defending against Ricochet and Aleister Black, The Bar, and Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura. Again, just a good match here. just keeping it going. There was a great Tower of Doom spot. I love the finish of the match where Sheamus comes in and he kicks Ricochet in the face. Like Ricochet sells it like a shotgun, ripping him apart. He kicks him in the face, knocks the hell out of him. Usos do their tag team finishers, big splash, hits a 3 count, and it hits a 3 count just before like all the guys are diving in the ring, kind of spot, but they can't make the save and Usos retained. Next up was the Hall of Fame. They just recapped what happened at the Hall of Fame. All the Hall of Famers this year came out and took a bow. Just so you know, it was Diaz, Harlem Heat, the Hart Foundation, the Honky Tonk Man, Brutus the Barber, Beefcake, Tori Wilson, and a woman named Sue Aitchison, who's just worked with WWE for 30 years off camera, and showing her appreciation, their appreciation towards her. Excuse me. Next up was a hell of a match. Falls count anywhere between Shane McMahon and The Miz. The opening of the bit was a little bit slow, getting Miz's dad involved. I don't know if that was really necessary. It seemed like it happened so early in the match. I don't think anybody really gave a shit. Well, I didn't give a shit about it at the moment. But the match itself was terrific, fighting all through the crowd, up this big scaffold, and then a superplex off the scaffold, where McMahon just happens to land on top of The Miz and wins the match. Great match. Great match. Up next was another Fatal 4-Way match, this time for the women's tag team titles. This was the champions, Sasha Banks and Bayley, defending against the Iconics, the Samoan Slaughterhouse, and the returning Pinup Strong, Natalya Neidhart, and Hall of Famer Beth Phoenix. This had some nice spots. I was really surprised that Beth Phoenix did so much work in this, considering she's retired. Been retired for about, I think, I think like 7 years. I might be wrong about that. But she's been retired a while. And yeah, had some nice spots, especially the finish spot. Beth Phoenix hits the glam slam off the top, off the ropes onto Bayley. Uh, uh, Peyton Royce comes in, or Billie Kay comes in, knocks her off the top, covers Bayley, and the Iconics steal the championships, which was another great surprise and a great moment. Lifelong friends who climbed through the indies together, got here together, got to the main roster together, and now are the champions. That's a fairy tale story, even for heels. Next up was the highlight of the show. The WWE Championship, Kofi Kingston, can he achieve the impossible? Something that literally 3 months ago was a pipe dream. Nobody ever thought Kofi Kingston be fighting Daniel Bryan for the world title at Wrestlemania. Uh, no point in going in all the spots and all the madness. I thought it was really cool that for the most part, Rowan got involved a little bit, but for the most part, this match stayed one-on-one, and it was thrilling and intense and emotional. And when Kofi Kingston hit Trouble in Paradise and pinned Daniel Bryan, it was, as a fan, it was one of the greatest wrestling moments I've ever experienced. The crowd was elated. Kofi, here's a man who really deserved to be the champion. 12 years in the company, winning everything else, and now he's finally the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And yeah, a lot of people, the first, black World Heavyweight Champion, The Rock's half black, and he's still a black man. And there's also been other black world champs. But this is a big deal. This being it being the WWE title, it being WrestleMania, and even it being Kofi. It's all so fitting. It was a moment. It was a real moment. I teared up. I really did. I got very emotional. It's a great moment. Next up was the U.S. title match: Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio. And if you refilled your drink, if you shifted in your seat, you missed this match, because Samoa Joe he choked out Rey Mysterio in seconds. It was a squash. It was a slaughter. I heard something about Rey maybe being injured, so that might have been why it was short. Just squash it instead of cancel it altogether. But yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Either way, it makes Joe look great, which Joe always looks great. And I love Samoa Joe, so yeah, moving on. Next up was Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre, and unfortunately, I gotta say, this was probably the weakest match of the whole show. Wasn't that it was a bad match? It was just that it seemed to me that Roman obviously can't really do much yet, since he's recovering from leukemia, and yeah, he's just it seemed like there wasn't a lot of risks taken in this match, and kind of just running through the numbers. That's not a bad match, but not a WrestleMania match either. It's just nice to see Roman back, and it was nice to see Drew McIntyre get that kind of spotlight, even if he lost. So yeah. Next up was Elias comes out to do his greatest performance in WrestleMania history, gonna sing us a song, and heel John Cena walks out. John Cena during his Thug of Life era, he does the whole rap, he does the double knucks, Word Life and everything. It was just, it went over like freaking pancakes, but it was just weird segment to me, and of course it ended with him hitting the FU. I guess it's the FU again, no longer the Attitude Adjustment, which was stupid. Why's the Attitude Adjustment, not the Attitude Adjuster, which was like what the song was? Anyhow, yeah, so he hits the AA, or FU, whatever. Hits the lazy DVD, and he leaves. And it's like, I don't know. I just kind of feel like, I kind of just wish John Cena just go away. I love John Cena, I think he's great, but, if this is all you're going to do, why bother? Next up was the No Holds Barred match. Triple H versus Batista. The battle of the Marvel comic book characters. This was No Holds Barred, like I said. And even though this is, of course, Batista's retirement match, kind of, he's just kind of coming out of retirement to have a retirement match, just so he kind of leave on his own terms. The stipulation was if Triple H lost, he was forced into retirement. And considering he went into the Hall of Fame the day earlier, it's not like it would have been a big deal if he retired. it was a hoss brawl. There's a lot of yelling, a lot of loud, violent, hard hitting stuff. It was a hardcore match. It was a street fight. Uh, it like I said, it was a good match. I think the second pedigree was a little unnecessary. Uh, maybe I'm just saying. I think they should have taken it home the first time Hunter hit the pedigree, instead of just making the match go another 3, 5 minutes, however they did. Because it's a long show. It's long in the show. Wrap it up. Next up was Kurt Angle's farewell match. Much like Batista, was guaranteed to be Kurt Angle's match, and of course the fans were very upset that he wasn't fighting John Cena. Cause duh. So Kurt Angle's taking on Baron Corbin in his last match, and Kurt Angle puts up a valiant effort, but he obviously loses. He leaves on his back. Baron Corbin wins. He walks away, and Angle does a very emotional goodbye speech. Kurt Angle, in my opinion, is the greatest wrestler of all time. If he's ready to walk away, he's ready to walk away. I think he probably should have retired 3 years ago. Every time he stepped in that ring, I've been worried about him. But yeah, I'm glad he's retiring. I'm glad he's retiring on his terms, and I'm glad he retired with a good match. Next up was the Intercontinental Championship. Bobby Lashley defending against the Demon King Finn Balor. I liked this match. The most hellacious spot, obviously, was when Finn Balor powerbombed a man twice his size. It was like a moment in a No Mercy video game. It was cool. So, hits the coup de grace, pins him, new champion. My only real beef for this match is I think they should have kept it a secret that Balor was bringing out the Demon King for the match. Only problem. Still loved it. And main event time. The first ever women's main event in WrestleMania history. Again, I think it would have just been better if they not hyped it to death at it being the first women's main event. Just put it last. Now, it's a triple threat match. Ronda Rousey is the Raw Women's Champion. Charlotte Flair, Ric Flair's daughter, is the SmackDown Women's Champion. And Becky Lynch won the Women's Royal Rumble. Now, if you've been watching wrestling since August, you've really seen something unique with this rise of Becky Lynch. I don't think I've ever seen a female wrestler that was any hotter. I mean, as in the crowd is loving her. They love what she does in the ring, loves what she's doing on the promos. She's great attitude. She's like the closest thing we've ever had to like a chick Stone Cold at this point. She's huge right now. She's great. So this was a triple threat match. Winner takes all of the unified, the undisputed, the ultimate WWE Women's Champion. It's what you expect. Becky and Charlotte fight a lot. That way Ronda, doesn't have to work too much. There's some cool spots going back and forth. I loved when Ronda locked them both in the armbar at the same time. Very similar to earlier in the night when Natalya put both of the Iconics in the Sharpshooter at the same time, which was really cool. What great moment in the match where Ronda's on the other side of the ring, just yells, "Bitch!" and comes charging at Becky Lynch. That was great. Had a lot of spots, had a lot of great stuff, but the most surprising thing of the whole match was the finish. Charlotte got wiped out with something, and Ronda has Becky Lynch up on her shoulders, going for the Piper's Pitch. Becky reverses it into a crucifix and pins Ronda Rousey. Between all three of these girls being submission experts and Ronda Rousey being Ronda Rousey, I thought the obvious finish was going to be Becky make Charlotte tap, or Charlotte pins Becky. I wasn't expecting a pinfall, and I wasn't expecting Ronda to job. Great moment. WrestleMania goes off the air. Everybody happy, even though everybody's got to go home really, really late. I think the bell rang at like 12:21, something like that, for this match to be over. Show went long, but look, they had over 5 hours of wrestling. They had 12 matches to put on. And my final say on WrestleMania 35, my favorite match was clearly Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan. My least favorite was Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. I didn't hate anything about or on this show. Even at 5 hours, I thought it moved well. It was the best time I've had watching WrestleMania in a very, very long time. I thought it was a great show. wow, man, they nailed it, knocked it out of the park. I have no idea what anybody else thinks about the show. I haven't been online or talked to anybody. I just hope everyone else has much fun and was satisfied with the matches and the finishes and the booking as I was with the show. To give it something, I guess I would if I would give it a grade, or so, I'd give WrestleMania 5-star show. I'd give it an A+. I thought it was a great show and the best pay-per-views they've had in a long time, and one of the best WrestleManias ever. I loved it. Anyhow, that was my take on WrestleMania 35. Let me know if you want me to do more wrestling videos. I'm not going to do these for every show. If I do, if I do another one, might do SummerSlam. We'll be that far ahead. Anyhow, I'm Jake Davis, and yeah, I'll still catch on the fly.